Hello everyone, welcome back to Drawn by Annie channel. This is me, Annie, and I will be drawing for you today. Grab your tea, coffee and snacks and let's dive into today's video. Today I'm going to work on a simple artwork, yet a very exciting one for me because it's a male character. I honestly tried to find where I got this suggestion from, but I apparently lost the nickname of the person. I'm so sorry, but I got the suggestion to draw this character from one of you guys, and if you did it, leave your comment down below so I can feature you, and thank you personally for the suggestion. And today's character is Geto from Jujutsu Kaisen manga and anime series. I haven't watched Jujutsu Kaisen myself, so I cannot really refer to the plot or the character's character itself, but I like the character design a lot, so I decided to make him into a print style fan art, just like I did with the previous suggestion of Yumeko. If you haven't seen this one, check it out on my channel. I've decided to keep it a little bit simpler this time and just pick black and white coloring and make it into a manga style print to fit into more male fashion or Japanese street fashion. By the way, I'm a big fan of this type of fashion because it inspires me a lot, and oftentimes I'm also wearing outfits inspired off of the Japanese street fashion. So I'm kind of counting this as my little contribution to the culture and another practice of mine of making a print style artworks. Oh geez, what is with my voice? I'm sorry, sometimes my voice just snaps out of nowhere and sounds like I've been sick for decades. I guess this is the aftermath of my long sickness that I've been telling you about in my Riven video. But anyway, I've prepared my sketch beforehand and now I'm going to fill in the base colors, which is going to be black, and do the line art with my fine liners and maybe do some extra detailing with my brush liners if I feel like it. So my usual pipeline for rendering this kind of art is to make a very rough and quick line art over the sketch and then get rid of the sketch by erasing it, so the artwork in the end would look a little cleaner, because graphite pencils, they tend to make the artwork look a little greasy, if that makes sense. Like there's this dusty look into it, especially if you use alcohol-based markers that are basically transparent, and if the artwork is very light, I prefer to remove the sketch from underneath, and that way artwork in the end looks much cleaner and neater and brighter as well. And also gray color is tending to desaturate the color, so if you're aiming for a very bright look, it's a must-do step. At least for me, because yeah, I kind of see the difference in this, but some won't. So yeah, it's just my rule of thumb. Anyway, there are several looks to this character that I've come to look up online. Like I've seen his hair being very long, and in some artworks they are tied up in a bun, exactly the way that I decided to draw him in the end. I have no idea what is the story behind this character or his look. So if you know, you can tell me down in the comments, because I don't think I'm going to be watching the show. I'm really short on time nowadays, so I rarely watch anything. But while I was looking at Geto at this specific reference, I kind of thought about some other characters because he looks very much alike with some of them. And for example, he looks alike with Ling from Full Metal Alchemist, and also he looks alike with Shikamaru from Naruto Shippuden, where he is wearing his joining armor and still doesn't have any beard or mustache. And I literally put all three of these characters next to each other and they look completely the same to me. I was thinking at first to make a fan art of three of these characters together and make them into a Spider-Man meme, you know, the one that has three Spider-Mans pointing at each other. That would be hilarious, honestly. Or the other one with the woman who says they're the same picture. But later on, I was scrolling through some online shops and looking for some cool t-shirts and prints, and I kind of got inspired, and I decided to draw him into this very contrast print that would be looking perfectly on some t-shirt or a hoodie, along with some cargo pants or maybe some tartan skirt or something like that. So yeah, I kind of wanted to keep it as simple as possible, so I picked the least detailed design for Geto and made him into print or like a magazine cover art with his name behind and a simple frame around the whole thing. And honestly, I felt so relaxed when I was drawing this artwork because I only had very limited tools to use, and I wasn't overwhelmed with how many colors I should use or what should I shade with, or should I use this or should I use that. Sometimes it's very nice to draw something very simple without too much details and just fill in the black colors and draw as a silhouette or something like this, and maybe draw some letters or hieroglyphs. That would also look sick, to be honest. But I'm not a Japanese, and I don't know any language like Japanese or Korean or anything. So I'm kind of mimicking the hieroglyphs, like making a cosplay of them. I'm making a fan art of hieroglyphs. I'm just trying to mimic as close as possible. And I have no idea if that's actually meaning anything. But anyway, yeah. In an artwork like this, a line art is actually in reverse here because most of the drawing is in black and white, or in this terms like an empty page or a filled page. Some of the lines have to be white, so part of the line art is actually white. So I'd like to call it a reverse line art because if I would do a digital art like this, I would just erase it in the parts where I would need it to be white. So yeah, as you can see in his hairs, for me to distinguish the volume and the hair strands, I have to actually do it in white or like no color. So I have to be very careful not to fill in the place where I don't want them to be filled. But if I fill them accidentally or I change my mind later, I can just use a white gel pen to make the detailing of the white line art a little bit more visible, and also divide the overlapping parts of his hairstyle, so it's not going to be like in one blob of blackness. So yeah, as little detail as it seems, but it adds up so much volume and understanding to the whole thing. I cannot really underestimate it. So as I'm closing to the end of the finished look, I'm fixing line art holes here and there and adjusting width of the lines with my black liner. Then I'm adding some extra highlights with my white gel pen just to add this little final touch to it, and I'm pretty much done. I really appreciate this kind of art. It relaxes me a lot, and manga style is one of my favorite art styles to make fan art with, just because it gives me pretty tight frames in terms of tools and techniques, and that actually helps me stay more motivated and less overwhelmed, because sometimes I cannot really do anything because I'm so much overwhelmed with researching and doing all the preparations and planning out stuff and choosing color palette and everything. So yeah, I was very much relaxed when I was doing this request, so thank you very much for leaving it for me. If you guys like my work and you want to support it for free, you can leave a like, a comment, and subscribe to this channel and my other social media, and I will gladly have you with me on this channel. Leave your suggestions down in the comments for the future fan art videos, and I hope I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.